Are you a beginner learning English? Well, in this video, we are going to start at the very beginning and learn how to form simple sentences with the simple present tense. Sounds interesting? Then let's get started. My name's Kristen and welcome to Koala Hugs. We have a lot to go over in this video today. I'm going to explain how to form the simple present tense in English, as well as when and what situations we would use it in. After that, I'm going to explain how to negate the tense, how to make it negative, and how to form questions with it. By the way, if you're interested in learning more English or even French or tips to help you learn another language, then be sure to hit that notification bell as well as the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on any future videos. Now, the simple present tense in English is actually really easy. It's probably why they have the word simple in the name. Basically, there's two different endings for this tense. So if you're going to use the words I, you, we, or they, if you're going to use those pronouns, then you just take it and add the verb as it is. If you are using he, she, or it, if you're using one of those pronouns, then you're going to take it, add the verb, and then add an S to the end of that verb. And now you're done. So if I was going to take the verb drink in English and put it into this tense, it would look like I drink, you drink, we drink, they drink, he drinks, she drinks, it drinks. Looking at the verb to drink, we call this part the base or root of a verb. For the simple present tense, we use just the base or root of the verb, whereas with other tenses, we usually add endings to it. Now remember, the words he, she, and it really like the letter S. So for this tense, we always put the letter S at the end of the verb. Sometimes you'll see an ES, but there is always an S at the end. We can see this all in other examples, like the word to walk. It would be conjugated as I walk, he walks, she walks, it walks, you walk, we walk, and they walk. The simple present tense is the tense we use to talk about habits or actions that happen again and again and again. So breakfast, for example, is something that most of us eat almost every single day. So I can say, we eat breakfast, because it happens all the time. We also use this tense to talk about facts, like in the sentence, the sun is a star. Feelings or opinions, like in the examples, they think dogs are cool, or she likes the color purple. And we also use it to talk about directions. So if I was going to tell someone, take a left, that would be the simple present tense. Now we can say things like, I love snow, or she runs with her friends. But what if you do not love snow and you wanted to say so? How do we negate this tense? Well, I actually just did in this past example, so let's look at it. If we look at the example, you do not love snow, you can see that we added two words to the sentence now, do and not. If we are using the words I, you, they, or we, then we use the phrase do not before the verb. To make a sentence negative, we add the words do and not together between our pronoun and our verb. But he, she, and it use something a little bit different. Remember how earlier I said that those words like the letter S? Well, that applies to this situation as well. So whenever you're using the words he, she, or it, you use the phrase does not before your verb. Let's look at some examples. If I have the sentence, they eat pizza, to make it negative, I would say, they do not eat pizza. If I was to say, he lives in Brazil, to make that sentence negative, I would say, he does not live in Brazil. Notice how there is an S at the end of the word does, but not at the end of the verb. Even though with the words he, she, it are third person singular pronouns. When we're using them in this tense, we put an S at the end of the verb. We do not do that when we're making the sentence negative. So, since we have an S at the end of the word does, we do not need to put one at the end of our verb. Okay, so we now know how to form the simple present tense. We know when to use it. We know how to make it negative, so that last thing you need to know is how to ask questions with it. And you can do it because you now have all of the parts you need in order to form it. To form a question, if you're using one of the 4 pronouns I, we, they, or you, you're going to take the word do, then add one of those 4 pronouns, and then add your verb. If you're using the other 3, then you're going to start with the word does, then add one of those 3 pronouns, and then your verb. Once again, since we use the word does, we do not have to put an S at the end of the verb. So a question would look like, does he swim? Not, does he swims? So, the simple present tense is a really good tense to start with when you're beginning to learn English, because it's simple enough to learn quickly, which gives you more time to focus on learning vocabulary and verbs, which you can use with this tense. Psst, hey, guess what? You're already speaking English! Congratulations! And with that, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, you found it interesting, you even learned something, then please smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already done so, share this with anyone else you know who's learning English, and I don't know, put something in the comments like hi or a question if you have any. And until then, I'll see you next time. Bye!